Coach Avery Johnson. My man, Coach Johnson, how you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys doing, Roll Tide?
Well, we're doing great. It's we're out here at the Malmore Invitational, hosted by Wimp Sanderson. Though Coach, he's not going to play today, Avery. I don't know why he won't play today, but he's going to be watching all the golfers. So we raised a lot of money last night for the Boys and Girls Club, so it's a great event and having a fun day so far.
Oh, that's great. I'm just wondering why Wimp is not going to play. I mean, Wimp is, I heard he was a scratch golfer, Barry.
Yeah,
he scratches when he walks down the fairway.
Hey, by the way, Avery, last night when they gave away the 4 people that are going to go on one of your basketball trips, it really sold for a big amount. So y'all be well pleased.
Oh, that's great. You know what?
Yeah, it was $6,000 or $7,000, and we got. Of course, I appreciate so much you being willing to let 4 people go and be on the trip. Coach Battle was there last night, and it was a great help to, boys and girls. Sometimes when both the parents work, those boys and girls are out by themselves, and this gives them a chance to go somewhere, and I appreciate you doing that for us.
No, anytime we can help. That's one of the things that we wanted to do this year was try to bring more donors on trips just to expose them to what we're doing and try to, continue to gain support. But whenever we can utilize a road trip to help raise money for the Boys and Girls Club, to me, that's a no-brainer. So I'm glad it went for a good amount of money, and I'm glad all of the money is going to go to the Boys and Girls Club. And hopefully the folks that come on the trip with us, hopefully they'll come on the trip, have a great time, and the Crimson Tide win a road game.
Well, we appreciate so much. I know you've been involved in recruiting, and I know having done it 150 years, you can't say a lot, but our listeners would like to know, and we know you've signed one young man here just recently. Maybe just talk a little bit what you can say about your basketball recruiting.
Yeah, well, the main thing, Wimp, and you and I talked about this, we were significantly behind for 2015 in terms of recruiting, and so we wanted to try to really make our mark in 2016, and we've done that. And, we had 2 kids coming in, a junior college kid and another, top 50 kid that's coming in for 2016. They'll start summer school May 31st. They both are different. One is a sharpshooter, which we desperately need, three-point shooting. And another kid is more of a versatile forward that plays a lot like Draymond Green, that can handle the ball, shoot the three, defend. And then we've added, Corbin Collins, who we just signed last week. And, he's a fifth-year guy and came from, Morehead State, and he's a versatile guy. Hope to, step in the Retinal Vasselheim shoes and continue to provide that depth. We have a couple of red shirts. One of them is Nick King, who's going to be eligible. That's a versatile forward that can stretch the floor for us. We have some returning guys that we're awfully excited about. But, we really have to hit a home run in 2017. We've been involved with those kids, which is going to be 2 years. And so the 2017, 2018 classes, we got to get our share of kids that we think are going to end up being either 4-year players and graduate from university, and some of them that we hope are 1 and 2 and done that'll go on to the NBA, so that we can continue to develop the type of balance program that we set out to build.
Sure. Avery, I wanted to ask you, Barry, I love your positive attitude. When you took the job here, a lot of times the guys will take a job and they say, when I get my players. Well, I think you immediately made these guys your players, and it showed on the court by their improvement. But just talk about, you've been here a little over a year now. Just talk about your experience here at Alabama, maybe some things you didn't know before you got here that you know now.
Well, Barry, and you and I talked about that a lot, when you came to practice with Robert Ory. It's one of those things that our players were being pounded about them not being my players. And I broke that day one, and I set the tone day one, and I just say, look, wherever you've been or wherever I've been, we're all a clean sheet of paper. Let's build a relationship. It's going to be a strong relationship. I'm going to treat you like men. I have high expectations for you as a man, and in the community, in the classroom. And then we want to maximize your potential as an individual and our team's potential on the floor. And I said, we're not going to give in to what the critics or the prognosticators in terms of us winning 5 games and coming in last in the SEC. We're not giving in to any of that mess. I expect us to upset some teams this year and play hard and try to develop a home court advantage at Coleman Coliseum. And you know what? That's what we did. And we built it. We laid the right foundation, won 18 games. I know somebody else won 18 games in their first year. That's on this call. But we built it, and nothing has really surprised me. I was involved with college basketball when my son was at another FCT school, so nothing's really surprised me. But the one thing I will say is I'm very appreciative of the support our students gave us this year with the 6 sellouts. Our attendance is up, and we just feel we have some positive momentum as it relates to Alabama basketball.
Well, I'm going to let Barry talk to you about the pro game, but I want to tell you something that's important to you. It was important to me, and that's your basketball camp. I know that your camp is important, that a lot of kids are coming in, and it's a valuable time for you to get to show the campus. So that's you and I talk about that, so you can say whatever you'd like to say about your camp.
Yeah, that's a critical part of our program because, when we get all of those kids on campus, for our 3 different camps, one is our elite camp. That's more of a one-day small group camp, where we have a chance to coach kids and give them some really individualized attention. Then we have our team camps where AAU teams and high school teams come from all over the great state of Alabama and a lot of surrounding states. We have about 40 teams a day for 3 straight days, and that gets us exposed to the kids, their coaches. And then we have our individual camp, which is, one part of it is a day camp, one part of it is an overnight camp. That's for three nights. And so when you combine all of those camps, we have hundreds and hundreds of kids come on campus from ages 7 through 17. We get their parents on campus, the coaches on campus. So what is that doing? We're building relationships. We're exposing them to our campus. We're exposing them to all of our players and our coaching staff. So it's the heartbeat of our program. And, a lot of the kids that we hope to sign in the future are going to come through those camps. So, if anybody is looking to sign up, they can go to CoachAveryCamps.com, and that's where they can find all the information.
Okay, great.
If you need an instructor, Dad will come out there and teach a station for you, Avery, if you need somebody.
Station teaches over.
Coach, I wanted to ask you, when you get a full roster in there, about your style of play. I think this year you guys did a terrific job of taking the team that you had and figuring out really how to keep the game close and give yourself a chance to win at the end. But when you have a full roster of everything that you want, guard speed, big guys, how would you like to see this team play? What would be Avery Johnson or University of Alabama's style of play when you have everything you need?
Well, it's a great question, and it's the style that I shared, when I first got here. I really want to be an up-tempo team, and you're right. When I looked at our team, I wanted to play fast. I wanted to try to score in 5 seconds. We want to score 75 plus points, 80 points, and only give up, 60, because I think that margin is critical, is important. But when I got in and looked at it, we want a great passing team. We want a great ball handling team. So we had to slow it down and try to play to the strength of our team, which this year was primarily defense. But with the players that we are bringing in, they're more skilled players. They're guys that can handle the ball, score the ball, pass the ball, because none of your plays are going to work if you can't dribble and pass. And so, we're bringing in guys with high basketball IQ. Now we have some guys returning that are some studs, and now we're going to have continuity with guys that understand our system. But we want to be an up-tempo team. We want to move the ball, but we want to be able to take quick shots, good shots, quality shots. And hopefully we'll bring in that type of student-athlete that can play our style. And that's eventually, by year 2 and 3, that's the type of team that we want to have on the floor.
Have you ever seen it kind of change itself? Have you ever seen anything like Golden State and the Curry kid? Have you ever seen anything, guy that can shoot the basketball the way he does? I tell you the thing I like about him is that somebody asked me if I liked the way they played, and I said yes, because he distributes the ball. He needs to shoot it more because he's the best shooter, but he also distributes the basketball. I'd like to have my home run hitter bat every time. So I want my best shooter shooting it more.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the same philosophy of somebody my old college coach Ben Joe. When you pass up a good shot or a bad shot, that would drive him crazy. If you're the home run hitter, the grand slam hitter, shoot it. And I thought Dale Curry, his dad, was a great shooter, but he's 5 times a better shooter than his dad, and his dad was a pretty effortless 3-point shooter. So I played with a lot of players, guys like Dale Ellis, and even Steve Kerr was my teammate on our first Spurs championship team, and I thought he was a great shooter. But I've never seen anything like Steph Curry. And the way Golden State plays is a fun way to play the game, and you see a lot of teams right now trying to utilize the 3-point shot. Look at Cleveland, making 25 threes the other night in their game. So the 3-point shot is a very important part of basketball. And right now, if you don't have 3-point shooters, the defenses just shrink and collapse. And there's not a lot of spacing out there to operate.
Did you play with Dale Ellis?
I did. I played with Dale Ellis my first year.
Let me tell you something, Avery. I worked my fanny off recruiting him. I worked night and day. And the last half of the ninth with 2 out, Tennessee gets him. And I worked Georgia. Hugh Durham was over at Georgia. I worked my what off on him, couldn't get him.
Well, yeah, something about your closing ability. Hey, Avery, talk to the listeners about the superstars. I'm talking about the Tim Duncans, the Kobe Bryants, the Steph Currys. How hard they really work. Robert Ory's told me stories about Kobe Bryant, how they used to beat him in a 3-point contest, and they'd make fun of him. And he said they'd get to practice the next day, and Kobe had been there an hour working on his 3, working to try to beat them. This is what makes those guys so different, the superstars that just work their tails off.
Well, here's what I'll say specific to guys like Tim Duncan, guys like David Robinson, Dirk Nowitzki, Hakeem Olajuwon. I've played with a lot of superstars, and what they all have in common. Every training camp back then, you had two practices, pretty much a day throughout the month of October. Now they've cut it back here recently, where you only can practice 5 or 6 days. But every 2 a day, if practice was at 10 o'clock, those guys are on the court at 8. So they would have their own 2-hour pre-practice routine before practice. Then practice would be from 10 to 12. So they work from 8 to 12. And then if the second practice is at 6, then their pre-practice routine starts at 4. So then they would be on the court from 4 to 8. So those guys were working 8 hours a day throughout the entire month of October. And it was just, it really was a great motivation for me to get out there and be a part of that same routine. And those guys continued, that routine, not so much during the 82-game schedule, but they continue to always put in extra work and it was amazing to see how that translated into their performance on the court.
Yeah, it certainly does. All right, we had a couple of listeners send us a message. I don't know what you can say about it. Is there anything you can tell us about the non-conference schedule? I guess you got to go back to Oregon. There's been rumors about Texas. I don't know what you can comment about. What can you tell us about your non-conference schedule for next year?
Well, I can't say much about it right now, but basically what you just said, you're going to be getting some information on our non-conference schedule here pretty soon. And, you know, some of the teams that you mentioned, we're really excited about the possibility of playing those teams. And as you know, Barry Wimp, part of our success last year was our non-conference schedule and being able to win 4 of those games against top 25 teams. So we're going to play some elite teams in the non-conference. I think it's important, but we're going to have a balanced schedule. We got some we got a couple of high-powered teams coming to Tuscaloosa. Obviously, we're going to play another game in Birmingham. But, yeah, just stay tuned because you're going to have some exciting information coming out. We're going to have some exciting information coming out about our non-conference schedule.
Well, Coach, I know we got to let you go. We appreciate you taking time to be with us. Give them that address for the camp one more time, the web address, so they can get on and get the kids signed up.
Yeah.
I know it's filling up fast.
Yes, it's CoachAveryCamp.com. And, you know, just looking forward to seeing all of the parents and the kids and coaches from all around, you know, Alabama and the surrounding states. And one other thing before I go, we were talking about the auction item at the adult banquet for Boys and Girls Club, and the donors that are going to be coming on the road are the folks that bought that auction item. But last year, Barry came on one road trip. Okay, I need 2 this year, Wimp. I need Wimp to come on 2 trips this year, and just make sure that you don't scream at the referees, Wimp. That's my job.
Well, you don't have him sit too close to the bench because the referees remember him. If they see him over there, they'll remember something he said. You may not get a call on the road down there late that you need. So put him up in a suite somewhere.
Yeah.
So.
No, I will. But I really appreciate you guys having me on. I heard your show has just been a huge success. And just thank you for your support of all of the sports, yes, at Alabama, but specifically thank you for Wimp, Barry, all you guys do for Alabama basketball.
We appreciate it, Coach. We'll see you here down the road. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Roll Tide.